Let's talk about this story now with Peter Seeberger. He's the director of the Max Planck Institute of Colloids and Interfaces in Potsdam, which is working on a study into the efficacy of wormwood and artemisinin. That's the substance derived from it. Thank you for joining us here on DW. So first of all, is there any evidence that this remedy is actually effective against the coronavirus?
There is no official reports yet that can confirm that. We began working on that study in early March, and we have done studies in cells that suggest that there are some interesting effects, but it's too early to make a final judgment right now.
What are those effects? How does this work in the body?
The exact mechanism is not known. What we believe today is that it's not actually inhibiting the replication or the growth of a virus. It's more on the sense of an immunomodulatory drug, meaning that it changes or activates the immune system such that it reduces fevers or inflammation that a virus may cause in the body. And that makes some sense because in many countries, these types of herbs have been used to treat fevers and febrile diseases such as malaria, starting from China, but also going over to South America.
Okay, so these studies are still in the beginning phase. We have seen some African leaders, though, praise wormwood as a potential therapy. Do you worry about that? Is that dangerous to make that kind of promise at this point?
I think it's difficult to make that promise. However, I cannot speak to what was said by the president of Madagascar because we have not yet had our hands on the product that they are using. It would be wonderful for us to see more studies. And before we have that, it's really impossible to make any statements. What I will say, however, our results are interesting enough such we are getting ready right now for animal studies, and we're also talking to 4 clinical centers to consider trials in humans in order to really assess the potential use of these herbs in humans.
And if it proves to be effective, what do you think that would mean for countries like South Africa?
I think it would be wonderful because it would really mean that they would have homegrown medicine to treat certain ailments. It should be said that the plant is the basis for an important or most important anti-malaria drug, and that extracts and pure substances have shown also quite a bit of promise in the treatment and possibly the prevention of cancer. So COVID-19 is not the only thing this plant is supposed to do. So it's extremely well researched in those areas. And the concern, of course, is that if it's very broadly used, that maybe there would be an ill effect on malaria, and we hope we would not lose the effectiveness against malaria.
And just quickly, you said you're moving towards animal studies. Do you have any idea of what the timeline would be until we have some sort of solid evidence behind this research?
We have filed a request to be able to do those. We hope that things are very fast right now, that we can get approval within the next 1 to 2 weeks. If that happens, it'll take about another week before we can make a judgment. So within a month, we hope to have these results. And those results would be really telling. It would be a good starting point to then decide to go into human clinical trials.
Peter Seeberger from the Max Planck Institute of Colloids and Interfaces in Potsdam. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.